Hello, I'm Jacq with YOGATX, and this is a fun practice for beginners. Maybe if you're pregnant, this will be a good practice for you as well. It'll be a foundational, but still a flow practice. I invite you to grab some props. So I've got 2 blocks with me today, and I'm sitting on a blanket. I hope you have a blanket at home. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you could use like a couple sturdy books or something that can go under your hands. So make do with what you got and we will get started. We'll start sitting. So again, I'm sitting on my blanket. This little lift does make a big difference in being able to sit comfortably. So close your eyes or let your eye gaze look down onto the ground, and we begin always by setting up a posture that feels intentional. So you might rock forward, rock back a little bit, and kind of find your center. What feels like a center line where your spine is long and your noggin is stacked right on top of your pelvis. And then let's flip the palms so they face open. Backs of your hands are on your thighs. Feel the collarbones open a little bit. And in this practice, for the most part, we breathe in and out through the nose. So breathe in and out through your nose and see if you can let your inhale and your exhale be equal in length. So there's an awareness to the way that we're breathing as we move. Take one more breath here. Don't worry, this is probably the hardest part, the sitting still. And we're gonna move now so you can let your eyes open if you close them. And let's stretch the legs out wide. So we'll start with sort of a straddle situation. And if you're like, oh no, right away, then fear not. Bring a bend into your knees. So bending the knees can help support our lower back. And then of course, if the hamstrings are tight, bend your knees. You could even slip your blocks or your blanket under your knees. So what's important here is you make sure your toes point up toward the sky. Okay, so toes pointing up toward the sky. If this is a lot, stay here. If you have a little more room to explore, let's take the left hand down the left shin. We're going for a side bend. So right arm up. And as you have the left hand anywhere on the leg, use that to help you twist. So in the side bend, there's a little twist going on. Heart opens up more toward the sky a little bit. Let your shoulders move out of your ears. Breathe into your right lung, your right waist. And then inhale, come back up through center. We'll take it right over to the other side. Right hand, right leg, left arm to the sky. Once you've got that going on, feel a little bit of the twist. So opening more toward your left and toward the sky. You can reach your left arm all the way over. We'll take it one more on each side. So come back through center, left hand, left leg, right arm up. You might look up underneath your right arm, and then right away, let's head over to the other side. Left arm up, have a look-see. And then come on back up through center. Get rid of your blocks, bend your knees to bring your feet a little bit closer to you, and then put your feet on the ground in front of you, hands behind you, and just windshield wiper your knees and your shins from side to side. Opening up into the hips, to the pelvis. And then let's take the knees to fall over toward the left. Sit back up as much as you can. You'll have to kind of organize this one a little bit. So your left shin bone is in front of your pelvis and your right heel is toward your right butt. So look up here if you need to get clear on that. Take your arms up, breathe in, and then we'll take a gentle twist over toward your left. Let your heart reach up and your shoulders drop down. And then we'll just switch this over to the other side. So flip the knees. It's kind of like you're making half of a box with your legs. Arms come up and then twist over to your right. Let your heart lift. And then come on back up through center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees come wide. If this is a lot for your hip flexors or your lower back, take your blocks underneath your outer knees or thighs. Take a breath in, stay, or fold forward. You can start to tip your chest forward, walk your hands forward to support you, drop your head. Let your jaw relax. And then roll your way back up to seated. Set your blocks over to the top of your mat, and you can slide your blanket off to the side for now. We'll come onto our hands and knees. Moving the spine a little bit, cat and cow, so shoulders are above your wrists, hips are above your knees, tops of feet press. As you breathe in, lift the sit bones, look forward. And then breathe out, round your spine, chin to your throat. Breathe in, lift the sit bones, drop the belly, open the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades. Breathe out, round your spine. Imagine the back of your heart could lift up high. Let's go one more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. As you inhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. You can come onto your fingertips or take your hands onto your blocks to give yourself a little bit more space, and then just rock a little forward and back. So kind of testing the waters, seeing what's up with your body today. So we're stretching into the right leg, of course, but then also into the front of the left hip. Next time you rock forward, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. So you just lift your lunge up a little bit. And then same thing, we're gonna rock forward and back. So as you rock back, bend your back knee, lengthen your front leg. You can lift your front toes. As you rock forward, back leg lengthens, right knee bends. As you rock back, left knee bends, right leg lengthens. Do it with your breath a few times. Inhale forward and exhale back. This time as you rock forward, put your left knee down to the ground, right knee next to your left, child's pose. If you are pregnant, take your knees nice and wide. If you have your blocks, you can keep them there. It gives us a little extra stretch. Drop the forehead down toward the ground. Take a breath into the back and the waist, and then breathe all the way out. Rise back up onto your hands and your knees. Right away, we'll step the left foot outside the left hand. Blocks or fingertips, so do give yourself a little bit of elevation. Rock forward and back. So linking up your movement with your breath is really one of the key things that makes this practice yoga and not just movement. Our breath invites our mind to join the party a little bit. Maybe our attention, maybe our focus. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, take an inhale, and then breathe out, bend your back knee, lengthen your front leg. So we're finding that rock again, but just lifting it up a bit. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, and exhale back. One more time, breathe in, and breathe it out. Rock forward again, drop your right knee down to the ground. Child's pose, knees can be close or wide. Whatever feels breathable for your body. Let your seat sink toward your heels, your head sink toward the mat. Rise up again, hands and knees. Step your right foot wide of your right hand. And tuck your back toes right away. So we lift the back knee. This time, get rid of your blocks if you can. You could also take them with you. You'll see where we're headed. Start to walk hands to your left as you turn your front toes in. We're going for a wide straddle. We already did this seated. You'll have to adjust the placement of your right foot so your toes are more or less in the same line. And then take a halfway lift. From here, spin your heels in and your toes out. We're coming into goddess pose. So as you sit your butt down, lift your torso. Take your arms into like a goalpost shape. As you squat low with your seat, don't let your knees dip in. So imagine your inner thighs could wrap up and back behind you, so you have this nice big opening. As you inhale, lengthen your arms and your legs. As you exhale, bend your elbows, sit back into your squat. Breathe out your mouth. Twice more. Breathe in. From here, warrior two. So listen closely. Turn your left toes in, straighten your leg. Turn your right toes to the top of your mat, bend your right knee, and then lengthen your arms. And you might find that you need to widen your stance a little bit, so your front knee is over your front ankle. As you sink down into the pose, let your shoulders relax while keeping your arms active. From here, reverse your warrior. So keep the legs just as they are. Right palm flips up and open. Good. As you exhale, lengthen your front leg. Press the ball of your right foot into the ground. So reversed triangle pose. And then from here, we'll come into triangle pose. So take a block outside your right shin. Right hand can come to your block. Let's take left hand to hip to start. Feel that turning open. Just like we practice seated, you're pressing into the block to help you turn open. You could also have your hand on your shin. And then take your left arm to the sky. Feel your feet again so you don't lose connection with your foundation. The ball of the right foot presses. Lengthen your tailbone behind you and let your sternum stretch forward. Have a look-see down at the ground and then take your block with you as you come forward into half moon pose. So right hand or your block comes forward but also to the right. As you lift your left leg, take your left hand to your left hip. Really helpful to have something under the hand to help you balance here, especially if this is new. And you could use a book or you could use a can of beans. You don't even need anything fancy at home. Just something sturdy to press your hand into. Left arm can come open to the sky. Let's take one more big breath. Keep turning the chest to the left and then look down. Step your left foot next to your right. Widen your stance a little bit and fold. Take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Find a little sway. Maybe a sigh out the mouth. And then release your hands. Point your toes out. Let's sit into a squat. You could slip a block underneath your seat. Hands can come to your heart. Take a breath in. See if you can create space between your shoulders and your ears. And then take your hands behind you. Take your butt to the ground. Let's come into altar pose. So feet come in front of you. Flip your fingers to face in toward you. Inhale, lift your seat up. And then exhale, open the chest. Head could fall back or not. Make sure your neck feels okay there. Sink your seat down. Cross your shins, roll forward. Come back onto your hands and your knees. You can have your blocks next to you again. And we'll step the left foot outside the left hand. Lift your back knee, feel that space across the chest. And then we'll walk the hands to the right this time. I'll take my blocks with you so you can see what that looks like. We're coming into our wide straddle stance. So feet parallel, blocks can be under the hands or not. Take a halfway lift. Breathe out to bow and fold. Halfway lift again. And then turn your toes in. Nope, turn your heels in, your toes out. Sink your butt low and start to rise up for goddess pose. So find a nice low squat. This time take your left forearm toward your left thigh. Take a side stretch. Other side, right forearm, right thigh. See if you can keep your seat low. Let's do one more time each side. Imagine you had a weight hanging from your tailbone. And then rise all the way up to stand. Arms can come up. Point your right toes forward. Point your left toes to the top of your mat, warrior two. So I have to stretch my stance out a little, get longer north and south on my mat. Check in if that's true for you too. Let your shoulders relax. So it's active, you're reaching out, but you can still find little spaces to ease up. Flip your front palm, reverse it. Good. Start to lengthen your left leg. Press the ball of your left foot down. Reverse triangle, big stretch, left side body. And then triangle pose. Tipping forward, find your block. Take it underneath your left hand. Left hand comes to the block. Let's take right hand to hip to start. So you're pressing down to turn open. Press down to twist. And then feel your feet. Left ball of foot presses. Feel the tailbone lengthen underneath you. Imagine your pubic bone could move toward your navel, toward your sternum, toward your throat. So you're nice and open, right arm to the sky. One more big breath in. And then look down, half moon pose, here we come. So right hand to hip first. Bend into your right knee, take your block with you, or whatever prop you've got. Take it forward and to the left as you press down through your standing leg. That's one thing I see a lot, is that people have their block or their hand too close to their foot. So take it not just forward, but also to the left. You just give yourself a little bit more stability. Maybe you take your right arm to the sky, flex your right foot like you're stamping it into a wall behind you. Look down, step right foot next to left. Let your stance be wide. Give yourself some space. Take your hands to opposite elbows. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Sitting into squat pose, toes out, heels in. Take your block underneath you. Lift your chest. Let's take hands to heart. Soften through the shoulders so the collarbones could breathe. So the heart can breathe. And then we'll come back into our altar pose. So getting rid of your block, put your butt on the ground, hands come behind you to help. Feet to the ground, lift your butt up, breathe in. Open your mouth this time, breathe out. Sink your seat down to the ground and let's come onto our backs. Take a full body stretch. Once you get here, draw your right knee into your chest and give it a little sway from side to side. And then put your left foot on the ground. We'll take a half happy baby. So left foot on the ground. Open your right sole of the foot toward the sky. Take your hand to your outer right shin, drawing the right thigh wide of the right rib cage. And a figure 4 from here. Right ankle on top of left thigh. Hug that shape in toward you. Hands can lace at the left hamstring or the left shin, but keep your head, shoulders, neck, and jaw relaxed. Steady breath is the name of the game. Let's switch our legs. Left foot to the ground. Right foot to the ground, half happy baby, left side. So first hug the knee in toward you and just find a little movement. Moving the left thigh bone in the socket. And then widening the left knee toward the left armpit. Let the sole of the left foot open toward the sky. Left elbow bend. Smooth breath through the nose. Notice you might be able to hear yourself breathing. Figure 4, left ankle across the right thigh. And find the placement of the hands that allows the upper body to stay totally relaxed. Put your right foot back down on the ground, left foot back down on the ground. Heel toe your feet wide as your yoga mat if you're using one, and then let your knees knock in toward each other. Let's take the palms to rest on the low belly in this constructive rest pose. And if this does not feel restful for you, or you need to use some props to support your body, then take the time to get them. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. If you need one more of those, take it. And we'll pause here in silence for just a moment to let our practice sink in. This posture, rest at the end of our practice, really is the most important posture. So if you have time to stay a little bit longer, then gift that to yourself today. If you're ready to move on, slowly heel toe your feet back in. Roll over onto your side and hit the pause button one more time here. So you really let your body weight be held by the ground. And then not in a rush, press yourself upright. Find a seat that feels comfortable. You did it. You did your practice for the day. I hope it sets a good foundation for whatever is to come next. Let's take our hands to press together, joining all parts of ourselves at center. You can let your mind bow in toward your heart. Thank yourself for showing up. You can check out my website at mindfulish.org, and I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Thank you.